Unscripted podcast.
Unscripted since 2002.
With your hosts, Holly
and Morgan.
Today's podcast episode, we're going to talk about the story of how me and Morgan met and how we became close friends.
We thought it would be very fitting.
As this is our first episode, it's a story all about how my life got turned upside down.
Mm-hmm. It's just crazy how the butterfly effect works, and that's basically how we met. The butterfly effect. That's it. Story over.
That's all we needed. Alright guys, see you next week. Welcome back. This is
Special guest on my podcast?
A special guest on my podcast? Is this your dad? His name is Banks.
True. Okay, so this ex-friend, we're gonna call Grace. Where to begin? We'll start with the guy. The guy is always the beginning of every story.
You know.
So, it all begins with a guy, of course. So, I'd been talking to this guy for well over a year, and it was a situationship, to call it what it was. We were both using each other for attention, and like, we are both smart enough to know that that's what was happening. And so, you know, we would hang out, he would come over to my apartment all the time, and then we stopped talking for a while, but we had just picked it back up, and then, you know, everything's fine, we're hanging out all the time, and, you know, he's telling me all these things like, I want you to be my girlfriend soon, and like, you're gonna come to my house soon, and I'm gonna show you off in my frat, red flag,
you know.
and I think we should take this more seriously, blah blah blah. He had like little nicknames for me, blah blah blah. So one day I walked my little happy ass into my psychology class, and I sit down in my normal like second row seat, and class goes by, and then at the end I feel tap tap on my shoulder. Tap tap. So I turn around, and it's this girl, and she looks distraught as hell. She said something along the lines of, I don't want to intrude, but that guy you're talking to, he's also talking to me. And apparently she was sitting behind me the whole time, and I had like texted him a couple times during class, and she saw and read our messages, and he was calling me the same cutesy little nickname that he was calling her, and saying, because he was supposed to come to my apartment that night, and he was saying that, you know, I can't wait to see you, blah blah blah, and she read those obviously, and she was like, yeah, I just went to his house and we did stuff like a couple days ago. I just thought you should know. So he doesn't play you anymore. And in my head, I'm like, oh, really? Because I knew this guy was a player. And at first, it like wasn't that deep to me, but I did get a little bit mad about it, because at the time it was kind of a big deal, because nothing like this had ever happened to me before, fortunately. But yeah, I was never mad at her, just mad at him, because like, the audacity that men have is unhinged, and it is crazy all the things that he said that were just lies. That's what I was mad about. I was more mad about the lying aspect of it than him talking to her, because I just don't care. Like I said, it was a situationship. Like, I was talking to other guys. I knew he was talking to other girls. Like, I'm not stupid. So anyways, we walk out of the class, and we go in the hall, and I'm like, yeah, that's something, that's crazy. And she's like, yeah, that's so crazy. Like, I can't believe he would do that to us, blah blah blah. And at the time, I had no idea, like, how long they had been talking, or, you know, I had no details. I just knew that he was talking to her, and then I left and went home. But apparently, they had literally only been talking for, like, 2 weeks max, and she made it seem like they had been talking for, like, ever. And so we exchanged Snapchats, and, you know, I was just like, if you need anybody to talk to, I'll be here for you. Obviously, like, because I'm going through the same thing. So she seemed pretty upset about it. So I was just like, you know, if you need to talk, I'm here. So we exchanged information. And then later that night, she FaceTimed me and we were kind of just talking about it. And that's kind of how mine and Grace's friendship bloomed. What happened next?
I'll call, and she's like, oh my god, that's crazy, 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 that's crazy. And I'm sitting on the floor doing homework like, it's fucking crazy, let's hang up. That's all my damn side even is. And it's very just irrelevant to this point.
Okay. So, obviously, me and Holly didn't know each other at this point at all.
Nope.
Okay, so this was in, like, February. So, me and Grace start to hang out, you know, we're becoming friends. I really like spending time with her. She's cool, everything like that. And at the time, I was living in an apartment with my best friend from kindergarten. We grown up together and everything. And so around March, I would say, the girl I was living with got pregnant, and so I was gonna live with her for another year, but obviously she wanted to move home and everything, so she moved out. And since she wasn't really around as much since she moved home, I started hanging out with Grace more, and so we started getting closer. And then by the end of the semester, the summer rolls around, and at this point I still had no idea who Holly was. I just heard her name a couple of times. So Grace was planning on moving into an apartment with Holly, one other girl, and they needed another person because it was a 4-bedroom apartment. So she obviously asked me if I wanted to be the 4th person to move in, and I was like, sure. Like, if we hadn't become friends, I don't know what I would have done. Like, I probably would have had to have moved home or gotten a 2-bedroom apartment with a stranger because of my friend getting pregnant and having to move out. So everything happens in divine timing. So I'm like, yeah, I'll take the spot, whatever. And then here comes August. We move in. Me and her are the first to move in. And then Holly moves in. And at that point, I had only met Holly one time. And we probably said, like, I don't know, exchanged a few words. Like, we didn't really talk much. And there's a reason for that. It's because Grace acted like 2 different people to each of us and said different things about us behind our backs. I don't know why. To this day, I couldn't tell you.
World may never know.
So she was basically feeding Holly things like, oh, I'll start with you. I'll start with what she's saying about you. She told me that Holly smoked all the time, got drunk all the time, she was a partier, all she wanted to do was party, she was a hoe, and she's wild and really loud and rambunctious all the time, like she's always on one. And so I was like, oh god, like I'm an introvert, like that doesn't sound like my cup of tea, so like I just didn't really care to become friends with her. And then on the other side,
I know she tried to make you out to be a bitch, and just very stuck up, only cares about herself. Something I've had to learn and grow from is if someone doesn't talk to me, then that means they don't like me and they think they're too good for me.
Oh yeah, that was a big thing. A reason why we didn't become friends or like talk at all is because I am very fucking shy. Like, I do not talk to people unless I am talked to, and I have gotten better at that over the years. But I'm an introvert. Like, I normally won't start up a conversation with someone unless they start up a conversation with me, and I just keep to myself most of the time. All right, you can continue.
So yeah, I took it personally, and I was like, well, Morgan doesn't want to talk to me, so she just doesn't like me. If she doesn't like me, then fuck her anyway. So I just always had that, like, she doesn't like me, so why am I gonna waste my time talking to her? Attitude. And then I have, I almost said the real name. I have Grace telling me things behind the scenes, like especially when we first like moved in, like, don't touch that, Morgan's gonna get mad at you. Don't do this, Morgan's gonna get mad at you. Don't use her laundry basket, Morgan's gonna get mad at you. Don't touch her food, Morgan's gonna get mad at you. So I'm like, Morgan's mad about everything, apparently. Like, I don't know, you stare at her the wrong way, she's flamed. So yeah, that's the whole reason, like, I never like made an effort, because I'm over here hearing like, Morgan doesn't like this person, Morgan doesn't like this person. Morgan only eats organic food because she's a preppy and thinks she's in LA. Like,
Little does Holly know I have Crohn's disease. So.
Morgan spends $100 on groceries because she's rich and she thinks she's snooty and cool. But yeah, none of that was true.
Snooty.
Snooty.
Is that an actual word? I want to know. Let's look it up.
Snooty.
Is snooty a word? It is in the Merriam-Webster dictionary.
Yeah.
Snooty is looking down the nose, showing disdain. Like looking down the nose means like
Looking down the nose.
like I keep, yeah, exactly like that. Anyways,
That's the face Morgan always made at me whenever she first met me. She said, "Ew."
I'm better than you.
You're
And anybody who knows me knows that that is quite opposite of the person I actually am. So, where was I in the story?
From the first day ever of y'all two meeting to hop hop hop.
Okay, the other girl that we were living with at the time is irrelevant to the story at the current moment. What happened? Did anything happen? August was fine, wasn't it?
For the most part.
Okay, so August was fine, and then September rolls around, and
Shit hits the fan.
oh yeah, I remember now. Oh
Tell
my
me about
god,
that thing.
it's just like everything went whoosh back into my memory. I think it started with my breakup.
Yep, the day we got him.
And me. Oh my god. Okay. The way all this is like out of my memory, and I'm
Same.
just like,
It's like things that don't matter in my life anymore.
yeah.
I'm like, yeah, that's irrelevant.
Oh, okay.
We're digging in the trenches to figure out how this happened. How did we end up here?
So little annoyances happened during the first month we were all living together. She had a dumbass cat. The dumbass cat was feral as fuck. And the dumbass cat chewed everything, scratched everything. It was an orange cat, to say the least. And,
Rest in peace if you have an orange cat.
yeah. And we were basically like, do something. Like, this bitch is out of fucking control. Like, literally, what did he do to your iPad?
Even at the corner of the case. Like, it's still there. There's like bite marks on the corner, like where the camera is at, the camera hole. Bitch literally went up to it and was like,
Like, he destroyed everything in sight. So,
I ain't even get a sorry, man.
yeah.
It's not that even. It's been.
So
Yeah,
she
yes.
just blew all that off. Didn't act like it mattered. And so we're just like, whatever. So at this point, I'm like, well, I want a cat. I've been thinking about this for months. Like, I really want to get a cat. And also at this point, I was in the beginning of a breakup. The breakup hadn't happened yet. But
You broke up in your mind.
look how cute the whole birdie is.
Beard. I don't see the beard.
It's on the line.
Oh, it's a baby right
It's
there.
a baby bird and it's got a red face.
I can't see, my glasses are off.
Oh. So, at this point, I was about to have a really huge breakup. I had done the girly thing to do and broken up with him in my mind. And then a week later, I decided to break up with the guy that I'd been with for 3 years. And when it happened, I was in my room, and Grace just came in, and she was like, oh, like, I'm sorry, and gave me a hug, went pat pat on my back, and left me there. And I was like, what a great friend.
You at McDonald's?
And Holly didn't even, like, know.
I didn't know shit. I was just hungry.
Me and Holly, like, we're not friends at this point. We had barely talked. So she didn't even really know what had just happened.
I was just trying to get some breakfast.
So, yeah. And then, that same day, later that day, we left to go pick up my cat, which is right there. So we go get the cat, we bring the cat home, and the feral cat of Grace's literally, like, attacks my cat, like, not in a playing manner. Just keeps attacking him. He's having to hide and shit. Like, it was very dramatic. And I'm like, can you not do something? Like, I get there's not much you can do with a feral cat. But we have been saying this for weeks. Like, we don't know what to do. Like, maybe you need to get rid of him. And she's like, I'm not getting rid of him. I'll just move out. Like, said that to me. And I'm like, okay. Do it then. So, she was never taking anything seriously. This is not about the cat. This is so not about the cat. So not about the cat at all.
That's what she always said it was about.
So that's what started everything for me, was that dumbass cat. That was kind of like our first little argument, cause it was just annoying, and she acted immature about the whole situation. That was really what the big thing was for me. There was a lack of communication. I tried to communicate. There was no communication. And I was also kind of butthurt that she wasn't there for me during my breakup, like during the process and afterward, even beforehand. Like, I had talked to her extensively about what was happening. Like, she knew everything. She knew all the details. She knew what happened, and she still wasn't there for me like she should have been as a friend. Because at this point, I had known her for, what, over 6 months, maybe? Mm-hmm. So it wasn't like this was a new friendship. So I just looked over and I was like, whatever. Like, you got your own stuff going on. I get it. I think it was just a snowball effect, mostly. Everything kind of snowballed. Mm-hmm. So at this point in September, we'd been moved in for about a month. And this is kind of where me and Holly started talking more. Because up to this point, we really hadn't talked much at all. So when did that happen? Because I don't remember. I don't remember, like, why we started talking.
I mean, we lived together.
Yeah, but, like, I would have never just, like, came in your room and, like, said something.
Maybe an extroverted person, I feel like, is why we even not talking to begin with. We've obviously talked and hung out at this point, but, like, we still weren't, like, it was very surface. Mm-hmm. Like, surface level interactions, like, not really anything that deep. Mm-hmm. Like, we'd go to the fries together, go drink together. I think the sad truth is I feel like the frat party and, like, all the partying we did, it was what, like, first got us talking. Because, like, neither of us gave a shit when we were drunk. Mm-hmm. I think that's honestly the truth. Like, that's really what happened.
Very true.
We just got drunk all the time, and that's how we got, like, closer to talking.
I'm pretty sure what happened was after we got, like, sort of acquainted with each other, more comfortable, after living with each other for a little bit, we started, like, actually talking. Mm-hmm. When it was just, like, you and me at the apartment, or, like, even me, you and the other girl. Mm-hmm. And we just, like, started having normal conversations. I think we kind of, like, figured out that we actually, like, click, like, our personalities click, and we...
I think that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, like, we weren't...
How do you think of this?
Yeah, we weren't, who Grace was making us out to be to each other. I think that's actually what happened, and then I talked to you about it.
Yeah, then we spilled the beans on both sides because it was like, what? What did you tell you? What the hell
Oh
did she
my
tell you?
god, I remember.
What?
Okay, we were coming down 7th Ave, and it was me, the girl in the front seat, and you in the back. Grace was somewhere. I don't know where Grace was. She was somewhere, but she didn't go wherever we went. I don't remember where we went, but we were coming back to the apartment, and you said, I can't hold this in anymore. This is what Grace said about you. I just wanted you to know because I've actually gotten to know you and I respect you now. And I need to get this out there.
I remember that.
Because I don't want her to go behind my back and tell you about it and then you think I'm a bad person. Or like think you said some shit about me when you didn't. Oh my god.
I predicted the fucking future. I knew that's some shit she'd do.
Oh my god.
And I was like, I'm gonna tell you straightforward what the hell I said because I don't need it coming back from another bitch.
Yeah. So I think that's what really started it. One random ass night, I went to Holly's room and I was like, well, this is all the shit she's fed me about you. And Holly was like, well, this is all the shit she's fed me about you, which we've already gone over. And we were both just like, wow, that's crazy. So after Holly and I had several more late night chats about our friendship with Grace and how she acted like two different people around each of us separately, this is the point in which I started to lose my respect for her based on what she was saying about me to Holly and then what she was saying to Holly about me.
Well, my respect for her disappeared over time. Like, it was like little things that happened and it was just kind of like a damn.
Because you guys had been friends for much longer.
Yeah, we'd been friends for about, when all this shit went down, literally like a year and a month. Maybe a year and like 3 months max. Months. But like, and I feel like we were friends longer than even that, but I'm like looking on the map, I'm like, the map.
What's that Dory song? The map! The map!
You know.
The map! The map!
The map. The map.
Oh! The map! The map!
ADHD brain. We're going crazy. I haven't had TikTok in like an hour. No TikTok.
Where did that come from?
The brain is popping, damn it. I haven't had anything that entertain my brain cells. I'm over here fidgeting with your fucking band.
Oh.
Anywho, me and her have been friends for about a year and only 4 months at this point. I keep adding time.
You do.
4. That's my favorite fuckboy thing to do. With the teeth. So yeah, we've been friends for about a year and 4 months. And for like the first year, ish, I'd say like in May of 2022. Which is, mind you, I signed the lease for this 4-bedroom apartment like 2 months before that, maybe in like March. Because I was like, okay, like, I'm not going to live in the dorms another year. I'll just live in this 4-bedroom, why not? Because it's cheaper than the dorms anyway. So I was like, we're friends. We've been good friends. Like, nothing's happened that would make me think we couldn't live together. So, why not? Sign my life away that day, damn it. I'm lying. Everything has for a reason. I don't think anything really detrimental had happened at this point. Like, whatever. There was, like, the red flags, but it was nothing that, like, I cared that much about. Like, it was never that deep. So I was just like, whatever, it's fine. Like, you know, everyone annoys you every once in a while. Not really. But I've come to figure out that's not really true. That's on being too nice my whole life. Whoops. So basically the biggest thing that happened that really just kind of like the beginning of everything, it happened in the summer of 2022. So I was on Color Guard and we had auditions for our weapon lines. I made it, she didn't. Instead of congratulating me, she kind of took it out of me. That was about it. And like, I don't think she meant to take it out of me because I know she was like just hurt like because she wanted to make it. But still not an excuse not to congratulate your best friend and be like there for them and be like, hey, yo, like, yay, woohoo, you made it. Not like, you quit for me. Mind you, I literally had COVID the damn week of the auditions, and I thought I was going to have to audition virtually, and this bitch was like just more worried about herself rather than me. Mind you, I could have been dead playing. So yeah, I made the line, she doesn't. She literally FaceTimes me one day in my room because I was in here fucking practicing non-stop, working on the tricks non-stop, doing everything non-fucking-stop. Mind you, I'm still carrying a fucking almost full-time job at this time. Like, I'm basically working like 5 days a week, still making room to practice. What's your excuse, girl? Because she was living down here. And mind you, we got 100 different parks. There's grass right down there. Like, there's no excuse. You could have practiced. But you did it. And you took it out on me. And that's not okay. And that's what caused all this.
That was the first annoyance.
Yeah, that was the first big thing. But then the rest I don't feel like was ever even that big. I feel like that was the one stagnant block. Like, you didn't even congratulate me. You don't even, like, you're mad at me because I made the line and you did it. How can you be mad at me for having success? That's where I'm like, you're not a real friend.
It was just small stuff that stacked up that made us realize, oh, you're not that good of a friend. And, like, we're not going to get into all that.
No, it's not worth it.
When did she pop off on us with the list?
September.
Okay. Why did she do that? I don't remember.
Because she was, like, being down. And I basically asked her, like, what's wrong with you? Haven't been acting like yourself. Because, like, obviously I'm a caring friend. Like, at this point, like, she never done anything, like, crazy to me. Like, the only thing she did was that guard shit. She didn't even know was a problem. Mm-hmm. And that's only for not telling her. We learned how to communicate now in life. We don't let shit pal like that. But still. So, she's just really off. And, like, she just seemed more down than normal. And I couldn't figure out why. And so, yeah, I asked her. And then she went home one weekend to see her mom, or her, like, parents. And she came back with a fucking list of things me and you did to her.
Oh, yeah.
Because I was like, what's the deal?
Which was nothing.
Yeah.
Like, I couldn't even tell you.
I think it was, like, problems with us of, like, how we were. One of the things she told me was, like, you're sassy. You're really sassy to me. And I'm like, yeah, I'm just real. Mm-hmm. Like, I say things how they are, and you don't like it. And, like, that's fine, but that's who I am. Like, if you don't want the truth, you don't want the unfiltered truth, the unscripted truth, then don't ask for it. Like, that's my biggest thing is if you don't want my opinion, don't ask for it. If you don't want my advice, don't ask for it.
Or any of the things she said to me. Because I really don't. I don't think... She said more to you.
Yeah, she had, like, one or two things for you. And you're just like, okay, so why am I sitting here? No, I know there was nothing for you.
It was nothing deep.
Like,
I think she actually said something along the lines of, like, I feel like we haven't gotten to spend much time together lately.
Maybe.
I'm pretty sure that was one of the things she said. And she was like, I feel like we haven't gotten to spend much time together lately, and I feel like we're drifting apart.
Yeah, it was that because you were purposely drifting. But you didn't know that at the time. Because you were, like, catching on.
Yeah.
I think things were chill for, like, a week, maybe.
Yeah, things were chill for a week.
Like, I think everything was all as well, all is fine. Like, she started acting decent. Like,
semi-better.
She was fun to be around again. Like, I was like, okay, like, this is all the change needed to happen. Like, okay, cool. Mm-hmm. And then she hit the fan again. So when us three were all in the same room, she didn't know who to act like. Because she already fed you a line of bull, and she's fed me a line of bull. So now she's like, what am I supposed to do? Like... I'm not you to you, and I'm not me to you. So it's like, oof, I don't know who I am. I'm like, girl, be you.
So during this month that Holly and I were kind of getting closer, we're still in September at this point, I had been working at a department store for since July that summer. And Grace was constantly complaining about her serving job and how she hated it, she didn't make enough money, always complaining about money, and I'm like, okay, well, I can get you a job, like, we're hiring at my department store, you can just come work with me, and we're always on single coverage, so we wouldn't work together, but there was a sister store, so she worked at that sister store. So we had the same shifts and rode together, but we didn't work in the same store at the same time. So I get her an interview at my job. She gets hired, She actually gets paid more than me, $2 more than I did, which I was just like, you know, it is what it is. Like, I can't do anything about it, because the company hires at different pay rates for some whatever reason. This job is like the easiest job. Like, you just stand around, check people out, sweep the floor at the end of the day, and go home. Like, it is so easy. Easiest job I've ever had. It's like beyond easy. And she constantly complained about being very dizzy and constantly disoriented at the job. And she was like, I think it's the lights and the smell, because it was a home goods store, so it was kind of, they sold home goods like candles, you know, smelling, stuff like that. And she complained about being dizzy and disoriented at the job at all times, and complained to the manager about it, which doesn't look good on me because obviously I put in a good word for her and said she would do good at the job. And this is what really got me. So one day we're driving back and we get back to the apartment after our shift, and Grace literally like fake collapses on the ground.
I forgot about that shit.
And she was like, I just feel so dizzy, I'm just so dizzy, blah blah blah. And like, I knew she was fine. Like, there was nothing to worry about at all. Cause like, at this point I knew she was dramatic. And I asked her, like, are you okay? Like, what's going on? And she was like, oh, I just need a minute, just like leave me be, just let me lay here for a second. And at this point, she'd been complaining about being disoriented at the job for a couple weeks now, I would say. And we're all just like, bruh, what's going on? Like, why? Why are you doing this? Like, she was a really big attention seeker. So I guess that's why she did it. Don't really know. I'm like, I got you this job, this really good paying job, the easiest job, and you want to complain about it and be ungrateful about it? So that just didn't sit right with me. So at this point, Holly and I started getting closer with the other girl that lived in our apartment, and Grace kind of got left out of a lot of things that we would go do because she...
It's a haunted house and everything.
Yeah, she either didn't want to go, or said she was too tired, or said she just wanted to stay home, blah, blah, blah. So we were just like, okay, like, then I guess guess we'll just go without you. So all three of us started talking and communicating, and we kind of figured out that the way she was treating us just wasn't okay. And obviously there's deeper things that we're just not going to get into. But we had all kind of just had enough. She was constantly saying things about Holly to me, constantly telling her problems with Holly to me, constantly telling her problems with me to Holly, never communicating, just being immature about the whole thing. And Holly and I were just like, we've had enough. Like, we can't do this anymore. Like, we were becoming friends at this point, good friends. And, you know, it's just not fair to us to have to keep this from each other when you're saying all these things about each of us to each other. We just don't want to hold this in anymore. So we decided to type out in our notes what we wanted to say to her, and kind of just communicate why we had been becoming distant and all of these problems that we hopefully wanted to fix.
Like, we wanted, like, everything to be out in the air. Like, this is what you did to upset us. This is why we're acting the way we are. Like, we want to resolve things. If we're going to resolve things, move forward, then this is what needs to be said. This is what needs to be resolved. Ha! Nothing can ever be that easy.
So all three of us made a list for Grace, and we called a roommate meeting, and we were like, we want to talk about all this. So I went first, and I basically told her, you know, you weren't there for me at all during my breakup, and she said some really rude and mean things to me after I told her that. and she always had a rebuttal for what I said during this conversation. A really rude, mean rebuttal. And then I told her about how I had got her the job, and she just was very ungrateful. And she ended up telling me that the reason why she got dizzy and disoriented at the job was because she had major anxiety. And I'm like, well, if you would have just been truthful about that and said that, like, maybe we could have, maybe I could have helped you, like, we could have worked something out. Like, don't lie about it and just say you don't feel good. Like, tell me the truth and we can work on it. We can work through it together. And then I told her that I had a problem with her taking out her mental health issues on us. Like, just because you're depressed does not give you an excuse to be rude and mean to everyone around you. Like, we all constantly tried to help. She did not want our help. We tried to talk to her. Like, we gave her everything. And I basically told her, like, I've been there for you. This goes back to the breakup too. I've been there for you. I've talked to you. Like, I've tried to help you, but like, you can't help me in one of the biggest things that's happened to me. So that really upset me. Yeah, that was my part of it.
I was basically just laying it all out, like, this is what you did to accept. This is what you did to accept me. And this is how it made me feel. And also, like, I literally apologized for not communicating, like, the guard issue. Like, from ever ago. I was like, yeah, this is on me for never saying anything, but this is the biggest thing that's, like, upset me. It was just basically, this is what you did. I didn't like it. Like, you attacked us with a list. Attacked. Eye roll. You came at us with a list first, so we tell you what's wrong. You told us what was wrong, so we tell you what's wrong. I don't understand what the problem was with that. I never will understand what the problem was with that. Basically, it's like, I've been acting this way because you've been doing this. She didn't interrupt me. She didn't say a damn word back to me. She apologized in the end. Like, to me. She was like, yeah, I'm sorry. Like, I didn't mean to act like this. Blah, 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 blah. I was just like, cool. That's not how it really went for Morgan at all. She got interrupted every other fucking sentence. She said some rude ass shit right back to her every time she would try to talk.
Like,
so,
I don't ever understand because I never did anything to her.
Ever.
Like, I was never rude. I was never mean. I was always, bitch, you finna fall?
He said, you gonna help?
She said some really nasty things to me after I had talked to her about all the things that was on my list. She gave a really non-sincere apology. She basically said things like, I'm sorry if I did this. She said, I don't know what I lied about, but I'm sorry if I did. Not saying, I'm sorry I did this. Saying, I'm sorry if I did this. So very insincere.
Basically just like, I never meant to do this. Like, I never meant to, like, hurt
yeah.
you guys.
I never meant to lie. I never meant to act that way. I didn't mean to. Things like that.
Like, that was gonna, like, make it all just disappear.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to do this. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That's, like, basically how it was even said. Like, I'm sorry. Not like, oh my god, I'm so sorry. That will never happen again. Like, I should never have acted like that. I'm really gonna, like, prove to y'all that, like, I'm better. I'm going to be better. Like, I'm gonna work on myself.
Nope.
Nothing. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry if I didn't meant to hurt y'all. I didn't meant to hurt y'all. Basically, we got an apology, but it was never anything, like, sincere. Mm-hmm. It felt forced. Mm-hmm. It felt like, oh shit, I fucked up. I don't want to lose you guys, so I need to force this apology. I'm not really sorry.
And then, after that, she said some really nasty things to me.
Again.
Which really just proved to me that she was never my friend. We're not going to get into what she said.
Real friend would never say what she said.
No.
In a room full of people.
So basically I was just like, okay, well, you just ruined our friendship. You've already ruined your friendship with Holly. And I basically told her, like, an apology's not going to do anything. This friendship will never be the same. And I'm just done. Like, I'm not going to force myself to be friends with someone who treats me as horribly as you do. So we had this talk, I believe on like a Wednesday maybe.
I'm gonna catch a fly. It was the it was it was like a Thursday or something.
So basically after this chat, this was on a Thursday, and the next day she wakes up and she's like, listen guys, I'm gonna go home for the weekend, think about everything, and figure out what to do next. So she leaves. The next day, we all get a text in our roommate group chat that she has decided to move out. We were just like, okay, you know, that's gonna be what it is. Yeah, so after we had that conversation, that's when Holly and I trauma bonded. And from there, we just started getting closer and closer, talking about more things, having more deep talks. So what's the reflection? What did we learn?
I learned to pick your friends wisely. No one's really ever who they say they are. Stop being so nice to everyone and learn how to communicate with others when something bothers you immediately, rather than letting it boil and boil and boil, and now you're complaining about something that happened 6 months ago.
Yeah, I agree. I think I learned that some people aren't who they claim to be, aren't who they act like behind closed doors, and to be more wary and not trust as easily.
Yep. Have fun in college, kids. Be careful who you meet, be careful who you surround yourself with, and protect your own energy, because why surround yourself with people that bring you down?
Yeah, that's a big thing. Is I definitely learned how to set boundaries and protect my peace.
A lot of shit happened in my personal life we won't talk about, due to this situation.
Yeah, we're leaving out a lot of details.
Yeah.
But it's okay.
It's irrelevant to us meeting. It's just what happened on the sidelines of, this is what happened to me during my day. And then I would after the conversation, brought into my personal life, and then that's how me and Morgan got even more closer, because we were literally sitting there talking like, this is what happened today, and because of this situation. And then I'm like, damn. Yeah. But that's all I'm going to leave that at, because anything else is just not worth my time talking about.
Then, fast forward a year later, Holly and I have our own apartment together.
We got over the 4-bedroom fun. Just too much chaos, honestly. Nothing like personal.
So basically, the reason why this story is so crazy is because, you know, the butterfly effect, really, because if it wasn't for me talking to that guy, we would have never become friends.
This place wouldn't exist.
If it weren't for me picking that one particular seat in that psychology class, and Grace picking the seat right behind me, Holly and I would never have met.
If I didn't do color guard and become friends with her, I never would have met her, then I never would have met you.
It's just crazy how divine timing works.
Everything happens for a reason, my friends. Even when you're at your damn lowest, you're like, shit, life sucks, life can never get better. It got better. It always gets better. You can always get back out to your trench.
Alright, well, I think that's the end.
Alright, dogs. It's been real.
It's been fun.
Peace.
But not real fun.
Peace.
Alright, 3, 2, 1.
Oh, we were actually supposed to go. That has to go in the end. Like a That has to go in the end.
What do you think 3, 2, 1 means?
You should see how zoned out I was. 2 hosts.